In this video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the subconscious mind, a series that I started last week. So consider this the part 2. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the nature and structure of the subconscious mind. I know that most of you asked me to get to the part where we actually learn how to reprogram the subconscious mind, because I told you it's a program. It works through programming. So I thought I was going to do that in this video, but I realized that there are some other fundamental things, very strong points and vital information and knowledge that you need to have about the subconscious mind. So I want to include that in this video. Actually, this information is also going to help you to learn how to reprogram the subconscious mind. So in a sense, I'm still talking about how to reprogram it by not talking about how to reprogram it directly. So basically, I want us to build a very strong structure of what the subconscious mind is, so that by the time we start talking about how to reprogram it, it's going to be like a walkover, because by then you would have gotten all the information you need to get about the subconscious mind. I mean, teaching is like building a map, a road map. You have to know where you're going before you start to talk about how to get there. So this video is part of like getting the structure and fundamentals of what the subconscious mind is. Does that make sense? So before I continue, let me say two things. Number one is help me share this video. The reason I always tell you to share this video is because it's going to help someone. A little information like this can be the only shift a person needs to know, can turn a person's life around for good, can move a person from poverty to riches and abundance. Information is power, and information about yourself is self-empowerment. If you're getting any value from these videos, it makes sense that somebody else can also get value from it. So help me share this video. Number two is I have a very great book titled The Creative Power of Belief. It's a very powerful book. I mean, testimonies abound. I'm not trying to sell my product here. Well, even if I'm trying to sell my product, it's worth it. The Creative Power of Belief is a book that can change your life. Everything I'm going to talk about in this video is in that book. Why I talk about these books is that if you're speaking, you can forget certain things. But if you are writing, you're more focused in writing. You're not talking. Talking takes more energy. So as I'm talking, I may forget certain things that I'm supposed to say. I hope I don't forget in this one. But when you're writing, you are more focused. And that's the reason why getting a book and reading it is important. Sometimes when you're talking, you can say things that you might not even remember to get in the book, but that seldom happens. So get my book. I'm going to leave the Amazon link in the description of this video. Somewhere around this video you will get it. Or you can just reach out to me, inbox me, and follow me on all my social media handles. Ike Chikwendu is my name. Just type Ike Chikwendu, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you'll find me. Okay, so let's get into the video. So have you ever noticed that patterns are always repeating in your life? No matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you work, things don't seem to change. You keep making the same amount of money, you keep meeting the same kinds of people, you're stuck with the same sickness, with the same problems from year to year, from month to month. It's the same. Have you ever noticed that such things are happening in your life and it just doesn't change? Now, it is not your conscious mind, your logical mind, the one you're using to listen to me right now, the one that your senses are directly plugged into. It's not the one that is creating your life. It is your subconscious mind that is creating your life. Your subconscious mind is the bigger part of you. That is the 95% part of you. You are only conscious about 1 to 5% of the time, but 95 to some people, 99% of the time, you're unconscious. Your unconscious mind or your subconscious mind, same thing, processes 4 billion bits of information per second. You are only aware or conscious mind of those 4 billion bits of information. You are only aware of 2,000 bits. In other words, what does that tell you? Your subconscious mind and not your conscious mind is running your life. That's huge. Remember those voices that you automatically hear in your head. For example, every time you want to start a new business, the first thing that you think of is the business is not going to work, because your subconscious mind already knows you more than you even consciously know yourself. So that is where your beliefs, your habits, everything that is innate about you, that is automatic about you, that is where it is stored. It knows you more than you know yourself. Now, let's talk about how the subconscious mind is programmed. We're going to talk about how it is programmed in this video. Remember, I told you that I'm also going to be talking about indirectly how to reprogram it. But let's focus on how it is programmed. Why am I using the word program? Because the subconscious mind is not a version of you. when we're saying how it presents those thoughts to you, it's not as if it's an autonomous being on its own that causes you to do certain things. No, it's not a being on its own. The subconscious mind, your subconscious mind, is like a computer, or compared to a computer system. A computer system that has a very large memory vault that can contain, think about in computers now, we've moved past the stage of terabytes. Computer systems now run on very spacious memory capacities that can contain lots and lots and lots and lots of information. Well, this is nowhere to be compared to the memory space that is your subconscious mind. So it's not another being that is separate from you, making choices and deciding and judging you and doing things. No, some people see it that way, but that's not what it is. It's a system, a memory system, a memory vault, very large one at that stores and keeps storing and has stored every important thing that you have done, seen, heard, experienced from even before you were born till now. That's your subconscious mind. So, how is it programmed? Now, pay attention. So, number one, the subconscious mind is reprogrammed through repetition and habit. So, everything you have repeated in your life, just to cut it short, every time you wake up, you either grab your phone and switch on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or whatever. You've done that for 10 years, 15 years. Of course, that is a very important detail in your subconscious mind. You will automatically open your phone every morning, and you won't even consciously decide to do that. It's part of you now. If your own is to use the bathroom immediately you wake up, your body will move you like a robot to the bathroom without you even thinking about it. Now, this exactly happens with your emotions. Sometimes you hear something, and before you can consciously catch yourself, you're already acting something, especially when your body switches into fight or flight or freeze mode. Maybe you hate snakes. Everybody hates snakes. And you just saw a snake by sudden. Before you catch yourself, you would have flown away for your dear life. The same thing happens when maybe you're driving, maybe 80 to 90 miles per hour. All of a sudden, a kid jumps in front of you. Before you know what's happening, your leg is already hitting the brakes before you even catch yourself doing it. That is your subconscious mind. So these are subconscious tendencies and reactions. So your subconscious mind learns via repetition and habit. It's programmed via repetition and habit. So when you do something over and over and over and over and over again, definitely it sinks seamlessly, easily into your subconscious mind. You don't need to do it again. Just like your password, just like driving, just like eating food, just like walking. How many of you find it difficult to talk and walk? I mean, you don't walk and get a phone call and stop, because you can't do both at the same time. You never forget how to walk. You can talk and walk seamlessly, incorporate those things and do other things, and breathe and blink your eyes and do all these things. Everything that your subconscious mind learns becomes involuntary. You don't think about it, you just do it. That's it. So in other words, if you've had habitual thoughts, listen now. By the way, what's a habitual thought again? What's a habit of thinking, if you've been following? I know you guys are smart. A habit of thinking, another word for it is what? A belief. Okay? So if you keep thinking a thought over and over and over again, it becomes a habitual thought, aka a belief. So if you've been thinking money is hard to come by, everything good comes easy, if that is your thought, it has become an unconscious or subconscious affirmation. Whether you're saying it with your mouth or you're thinking it in your mind, it is subconscious. And because it's subconscious, the subconscious mind, which directly relates information to the quantum field, relates that unconsciously, without you knowing. Money is hard to come by. You are always going to struggle to make money. You will get money. You might get money, but it will be through extreme hard work. And that's the reason why when you hear me say things like, you created it for yourself, sometimes you wonder, when did I create this for myself? You don't know when, because it is unconscious or subconscious. It's making sense? So this is the reason why the minute you start catching yourself saying things like, I'll never be rich, nobody ever likes me, I always meet the wrong people, this problem will never go away. The minute you start catching yourself saying these things, you have started changing. You have started changing. Because you no longer go unconscious. You have stripped the power from your subconscious mind And this is what is called metacognition. The ability for you to stay conscious and catch your subconscious thoughts. In other words, the ability for you to stay conscious in your subconscious mind. This is a powerful thing. You have become the consciousness that you were meant to be. This is power. And we're going to talk about the skill of metacognition in future videos. So watch what you repeat, watch your habits. Repetition and habit, this is number one. This is the number one way the subconscious is programmed. The things you repeat, the thoughts you repeat, the emotions you repeat, and the actions you do. And actions includes speech. Speaking is acting. Okay? And when you're also thinking, you're talking, just that you're not talking out loud. You're saying things into the quantum field, into the universe. This is what I want. So that's exactly the reason why you don't know when you're saying them. You don't have to say them out, because the universe is listening to your thoughts, especially the subconscious ones, not the conscious ones. Remember, I want to be rich does not make you rich. That's a conscious desire. It's how you are thinking you are now. That is what is creating your life. Get this. This is powerful. Your desire, I want to, does not work. It is how you think and assume yourself to be now, in this moment. There is only one moment. There is no tomorrow, there's no yesterday. From the grand scheme of things, it is now that matters. So if you're saying, I want to, but you're feeling, I am not. What you are actually broadcasting is, I am not. And that is what you keep being. So for you smart ones, I know what you're getting now. And you're right. If you want to reprogram your subconscious mind, start watching your repetition, the things that you repeat, and your habits. Catch them and turn it around, flip it around and say the opposite. Say it to align with your grand desires. Okay? Number two, emotional intensity. And I'm going to talk about childhood programming and a little about brainwaves. Now, your subconscious mind was mostly programmed when you were a child. When we are children, especially from 0 to 7, because of the nature of the brain. Now listen, now this is very important. This is going to resonate with so many of you, me included. Now, because of the brain wave that a child operates within the ages of 0 to 7, information that comes into the brain goes straight into the subconscious mind. Why? Because there is no conscious filters within this time period. Between 0 and 7, a child doesn't have conscious mind. It is all subconscious. And remember that the subconscious mind does not know how to select. It doesn't know how to say this is right, this is wrong. That's the reason why even in ancient texts, judgment wasn't made against anyone that doesn't know their right from their left, because there are no conscious filters at that time. So a child between 0 and 7 doesn't know anything. In other words, anything that they see, hear, taste, smell, and touch, experience goes direct to the subconscious mind and stays there. And remember that the subconscious mind does not reject. It accepts all information. Does this make sense? This is the reason why when you're training a kid and you're always saying things like, this is going to make a whole lot of sense to many of us, right? If you're always saying negative things like, you'll never amount to anything, you're not a good person, you're a bad person, you're a failure, me, personally, I can resonate with this one, because I had a very terrible time growing up. So it affected my personality. It was a programming that I had to break myself, right? So when you are in front of, parents should listen to this. This is very, very important. Anything you're telling your kid between the ages of 0 and 7, don't expect anything less than that, because after 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they will still be playing that program. This is very powerful, because as a grown-up, you have conscious filters. So you know what is right for you and what is not right for you. But as a child, you don't know anything. That's why nature placed you around parents who can guide you. Unfortunately, those parents, and I'm sorry to say this, most of them, we have very, very lovely people around us in the world today. We have a lot of very, very responsible parents and lovely parents. But not all of them are lovely. There are so many irresponsible people there as parents today. So when these parents are there fighting in front of their children, that's the reason why do the studies. Just do the research. The research shows today that people who are having, most people, not everyone, but most people, up to 60% of people who are having dysfunctional marriages now came from homes that experienced the same. Because at that age, where they don't know that domestic violence is bad, they don't know that because they are children. And their parents, oblivious to that, I don't want to believe that they are intentionally programming these children for that. But when they stay in front of their kids and they fight, they demonstrate domestic violence, they mess up themselves, they mess up the house, they do all of these things. The kid believes this is how life should be. When they grow up, they don't respect their partners, they don't respect any marriage, they don't respect people. They are bound to have the same problem because that is exactly how they understood life to be. You tell them that there can be a very peaceful home, they will never accept that. You tell them that homes can be peaceful, that wives can be loving, husbands can be loving and all of that, they never accept that. What about money? You saw your parents fighting about money. You know, your dad talks about how everything is hard, how he hasn't been paid, how the government owes them, how you have to work for 30 days. That's the only way to make money in life. You have to go to school and all these things. You heard your dad say that. And then the woman is always saying, you never give me enough money. I'm always crying. I'm always the one doing this and that. So you know from them that money is hard to come by, that somebody can be stingy, that somebody can be, that somebody can withhold money, that money is a big deal. You have to cry about it before you get it. There has to be quarrel before money comes out. That is the kind of family you grew up in. And because you don't know any other thing, you're going to believe that money is hard, that money does not grow on trees, because your parents and everyone you were looking up to, they were squeezing and they were suffering before they made anything. It will become a very fundamental and foundational belief in your life. So because all these things are pouring direct into your subconscious mind, so that when the child begins to develop conscious facilities, the conscious mind will now begin to use the information that's already deposited in the subconscious mind to build its own understanding of what life is all about. They will follow their parents to echo the same thing, and they grow up, get married, and teach their children the same thing. I hope this is making sense to you. Let me know in the comments below if this is making sense to you, because this is a very powerful information. I hope you're making some traces with your mind in your own life right now as you're listening to this, to find out the beliefs you picked up from when you were a child. So this second point about how the subconscious mind is being programmed is very, very important, because it shows you how emotions program the subconscious mind. Because a child between 0 and 7, sometimes 10, sometimes some children operate on that same brainwave of theta, Theta, theta brainwaves, till 15. That's the brainwave. I haven't mentioned it so far. That's the brainwave of every child between the ages of 2, 3, and 7. Sometimes it extends in some children till 15. That's why you see some children, even at 15, they're still wetting the bed. Sometimes you meet some children at the ages of 7, 8, 9, 10. You see them cooking with bottle corks, making their stove or their firewood and everything, and making good food with sand and stones and everything. Don't you dare take it from them, because if you take it from them, they will cry, they will shout and cry in pain, very real, as if you took away real food from them, because you actually took food from them, because to them that is real food that you took from them. So the imaginary world to the child at this moment is more real than the real world to them. That is what theta does. And pay attention. I hope you're going to be around to watch how to reprogram the mind, the subconscious mind, because for you to reprogram the subconscious mind this way, you have to become a child again. That's right. You have to turn your brain like that of a child. No wonder, let the children come to me. You know who said that. This can give you a clue why that statement was made. Big hint, by the way. So when we talk about emotional programming, when that child starts to hear their parents or anyone argue at that age concerning any subject at all, money, relationship, whatever it is, they will link that and the environment or the atmosphere that subject was created to an emotion. Whatever is in the atmosphere is what they are going to feel. So money to them, because of the quarrel that money causes, money to them equals struggle, quarrel, poverty, hard. So they grow up 20, 30, 40 years later and they struggle with money. They never make a lot of money. Even when they get it, they find it difficult to release it, because in their minds, releasing money is going to cause trouble, it's going to cause quarrel. And that is what they picked up 30 years ago, 40 years ago, sometimes more. It is very powerful. But the reverse is exactly going to be the case when it is programmed. Now, we talk about emotional programming. It doesn't have to always do with children. Children is one way, but your subconscious mind can also be programmed as an adult. Sometimes when you, for example, like the 9/11 event, or your own 9/11, proverbially, you have you lost a child, or you lost a loved one, or you lost your career, or you had a very negatively impactful embarrassment. Maybe you went to sing on stage, you sang a song and people didn't like your song, or you made a presentation and messed up woefully, and it imprinted in your brain a moment of embarrassment that caused you to feel a powerful emotion that branded insecurity or embarrassment in your mind. That thought and that feeling is going to cause you to keep remembering when you were embarrassed on stage. Whatever, it could be anything. But that one moment that created an emotional pain, emotional wound in your life that you can never forget. Not that you can never forget it, but it actually affected you, and it's actually affecting you, that you are afraid of going to such things or going through such experiences again. That is emotional programming. That event went straight into your subconscious mind. It bypassed the conscious mind, just like what happens when you were a child. So again, the brainwave is theta brainwave. Theta brainwave is when your brain and your consciousness is more susceptible, more suggestive to information. Marketers use it a lot, advertisers use it a lot, speakers use it a lot. Right now, you might be in a theta brainwave, because if everything I'm saying or anything I'm saying is making sense to you, you might be, is that why this happened? Your brain will shift and everything will go straight into your subconscious mind. That is how this happens. Making sense? The third way your subconscious mind is programmed is through authority figures in your life. Now, this is another powerful one. Have you noticed that whatever people in authority, especially the ones you respect, whatever they say holds real value for you? Have you noticed that? They don't have to be right. That's the funny thing about them. Have you noticed that? Now, this is just an example. For example, let's say someone said something negative about your pastor or about your parents, or even if what they're saying is true, you feel a very strong pulse to punch them in the nose. Even if you're a very good person at heart, you don't tolerate anybody talking about someone you love or someone that is a recognized authority in your life. That is your subconscious mind at work. It's the same programming, because our subconscious mind is wired to look up to something that is above us. Where did that come from? It came from the second thing I said. Because when you were born, you had almost 10 years, well, basically 7 years. Theirs got to 10 years or 15 years where you looked up to someone else that bypassed your conscious mind. So that alone is a trait in itself, in and of itself, to make you automatically look at authority figures. That's the reason why the government, and this is not to say anything bad about the government, but this is the reason why the government easily programs people. This is the reason why the matrix is working. This is the reason why church is working. This is the reason why government programming people and, putting people in a cage mentally. This is the reason why it works. Everything they say goes. They will force their belief systems and everything down your throat, and the masses will just take it. It's because there is an instinct in every human being, me included, that causes us to look up to people who are above us. It's not bad, but it can be taken advantage of. Is this making sense? It's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with looking up to somebody who is above you if they can take care of you. I mean, we have higher minds. We have higher consciousness. We have to recognize that hierarchy. You don't have it all. Nobody has it all together. There's someone who knows what you don't know. Okay? So if you don't recognize a higher authority, you will not even grow higher than where you are. But there are people who will take advantage of that. There are forces who will take advantage of that and keep you in a cage, and cage you, make you stay where you are, because they want to keep ruling you. They don't want you to know the truth. That's what we're talking about. So figures of authorities help shape your subconscious mind, because your subconscious is wired that way. And this is the reason why, listen now, this is the key. I get excited whenever I want to talk about this. This is the reason why when you start to reprogram it and begin to notice that you have a higher self, you have a higher consciousness, that same subconscious mind will lift or transfer that allegiance that it has given to society, that has given to the government, that has given to anyone and anybody outside of them, transfer it to the higher mind, to the higher consciousness, which is where true freedom lies. Let me know in the comments if you're following with this. And number 4, which is the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video of how your subconscious mind is programmed, is mental imagery and mental rehearsals. Some people call it visualizations, but I love to use the word mental rehearsals because with visualizations, it's just pictures. You don't feel it. And remember, I've talked in my last videos that the emotion is the frequency, is the magnet that draws things into your life. If it's just images, just visual, you don't have the magnet that draws it into your life. But when you are fully involved in it, in other words, you're looking at it in the first person, you're fully immersed in the picture. Now, the image creates an emotion, and the emotion draws the event to you. The physical, tangible event, whatever you're manifesting, it is your emotion that draws it to you. So I prefer using the word mental rehearsal more than visualizations. Does that make sense? I love explaining things the way it makes sense, both to me and to someone else, because there's a big difference between visualization and mental rehearsal. Okay? So think about cartoons and movies and arts and all these things. These are facilities that the mind uses to convey information to the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind does not hear English. This is funny. It doesn't hear English. It doesn't hear language. The language of the subconscious mind is emotions and pictures. Why pictures? It's mainly emotions. Why pictures? Because pictures translate emotions. The mind thinks in pictures, not in words. If I say the word apple, you don't see A-P-P-L-E, do you? You see an apple, depending on the one that you like. You might see a green one or the red one, whatever, but you don't see A-P-P-L-E. You see an apple. You see an actual apple. If I say rice, you want to see either cooked rice or jollof rice or stewed rice or whatever. You don't see R-I-C-E, right? Your subconscious mind connects, listen now, to pictures more because it creates emotions. So let's say you were growing up, or even now you were watching a cartoon, because I still watch cartoons. Cartoons, by the way, big hint, cartoons is not for children alone. In fact, more adults today watch cartoons. Let me know in the comments if you believe that. So let's say you watched a cartoon, and in that cartoon, maybe Beauty and the Beast or whatever, or even in a normal everyday movie, 2 hours movie, and you watched it, and maybe you're a woman, and in the cartoons or in the movie world or in Disney world, the lady, the princess, is always rescued. She's always beautiful, and she's always rescued. She's always been the one that the prince goes after, and all of that. And you've watched maybe 95 movies like that, or even 100, or even 200 like that. So you unconsciously create a belief, listen now, that you have to be beautiful to be loved. You have to be beautiful to be rescued. You have to be beautiful for something good to happen in your life. You know, things like that. Because of those movies, and you didn't know, because subconscious things happen just like that. You don't know when it happens, because there are emotions as you're watching it, and you are praying for the girl to be saved, and you're crying when they are crying, and you're doing all of that. Your subconscious mind does not know it's a movie. Your subconscious mind believes it's real. And by that way, you are creating a belief that a beautiful person is the one that is loved. Maybe because in your own eyes, based on the belief that you've created, you don't see your own beauty. And you start to build an image of yourself, a negative image of yourself, because you don't look like that person. You see? This is what's happening. Maybe about money, about whatever. All those images that you've created, given your mind, has been translated by your subconscious mind, causing you to feel emotions that are associated with those things that you are always watching, consuming. That is why content consumption is very important. You must be careful with the information that you are listening to, that you're consuming on a daily basis. You must. If it's not aligned to the things that you want to achieve or manifest in your life, desist from them. desist from them because it's not helping you. Is making sense? So this means then that when we start talking about how to reprogram your subconscious mind, we will begin to intentionally now install images, scenes, and information into the brain that will produce emotions, which is the language of the body or the subconscious mind. Because thoughts are the language of the brain, and feelings or emotions are the language of the subconscious mind or the body. So we're going to talk about that in the next video. So this is a very powerful video and information. What I've talked about so far is how the subconscious mind is programmed, and the first thing I said is that it is programmed through repetition and habit, and the second thing I said is that it's programmed through emotions from when you were a child and strong emotions even when you are now an adult. And the third way it is programmed is through the influential figures in your life, like parents, the government, social media, society, traditions, and so on and so forth. And then the fourth way is by mental imagery and mental rehearsals. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to think about a time in your life when you were little. What is that belief that you remember picking up when you were a child after hearing this video that you didn't know this is what's been keeping you stuck in that situation? What's that one belief or two beliefs or those beliefs? Say something about it in the comments. And then secondly, let me know in the comments below, what's that one belief that you want to change in your life? Let's create a community of people who wants to reprogram their subconscious mind. I mean, I'm also work in progress, so let's just get a community of those that are work in progress as well, that wants to change one belief or the other, because this is real. This is real, friends. And then thirdly, let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or any area of this video that you want me to expand on, and I will do just that, because I go through all your comments and I try as much as possible to respond to each and every one of them. So let's work on all of this and let's create this community of people who wants to build a very strong and aligned subconscious mind, because our subconscious minds, yours and mine, is what is creating our lives, is what creates our lives, is not our conscious mind. So in the next video, friends, I'm going to be talking about what you've been waiting for, how to reprogram your subconscious mind. Even though I've indirectly talked about it in this video, but in that video I'm going to focus on that. We're going to talk about repetition because that's the key. The key is repetition. You've seen it. The things that you have been doing, hearing, listening to, feeling, all those emotions that you've been feeling and all those things that you've been acting formed your subconscious mind, which is forming your life. You can see it now. So your life has always been at your mercy. You have always been the creator of your life. You've seen it. It's very clear. So when I say you're a creator, it's not just talk. It's the truth. Because when you daily, intentionally create habits and repeat them over and over again, intentionally, that is the word, deliberately, then you are speaking to your subconscious mind. Now it will know that, hey, this guy is ready to change. Oh, this guy is ready. There's a new government here. It has no choice than to bow to it. So this is something that you must create time if it is important to you. That's why when I talk to people about manifestation, I ask them, what's the most important thing? That's because if it's not important to you, your subconscious mind is already used to doing something else. You have to have a will that is greater than your subconscious mind to make it begin to follow you. If it's not important, it won't listen, right? If something is important to you and you have to every morning, every day, invest 1 hour, 2 hours into it to make something a habit, you do it every day, that power of consistency will get the attention of your subconscious mind and things in your life will start to shift. So remember that it took you time. It doesn't mean that it's going to take you a lot of time to make the change, but you have to be willing to make a commitment, because your subconscious mind knows you more than you know yourself. I always say this, it knows you more than you know yourself. So if you are serious about it, it will know. If you're not serious about it, it knows already even before you talk about it. So once you start to make out time to do something you have never done before, you've gotten its attention because it knows, okay, this guy doesn't behave like this. This thing he's putting this much time must be important. It will stop at nothing to reprogram it. Your belief will move heaven on earth to change that thing. That is how it works. Okay? So you can see now that the power to create your life or change your life has always been with you. No one else. This is a very powerful discovery. I don't know about you. So, if this video resonates with you, like it, follow me, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching this video on. Find me wherever and share this video. If you love it, someone else is going to love it as well. You're going to be doing them a huge favor, and we're going to be growing together and expanding together and becoming creators more. Remember, you are a creator. Don't forget that. I always tell you that, not to sweet talk you, but to tell you who you are, because that is who you are. Step into that position because that's who you are. So until next time, take care of yourselves.